Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for yoyomax12.
Hello everyone, today we're doing a Kit Kat ice cream cake. For this recipe you're going to need a springform pan. A springform pan comes in two pieces, the sides and the bottom, and there's a clip on the side there that squeezes everything together and holds the bottom in place. So when you're done with whatever you have in the pan, you can remove the sides to serve it. This cake was actually Max's 13th birthday cake. He didn't want a regular cake this year, he asked for an ice cream cake. So this is what I decided to make. You're going to need Kit Kats, of course. I bought the Kit Kats in packages of 4. It was cheaper that way. You'll have to look around to see which is the best price for the best price. And when you open a Kit Kat bar, you will notice that the Kit Kats are divided into 4 pieces. And the word Kit Kat is printed on them. So just break them into 2 pieces and place them in the pan with the word Kit Kat facing outward or touching the pan. The top part of the bar is a little bit narrower, so it'll fit better in the pan that way, and you'll be able to see the word Kit Kat once we unmold it at the end. And continue to place Kit Kat bars all the way around the springform pan to make like a wall that's going to contain our ice cream. And when you get towards the end where they're going to meet up, you may have to, instead of putting a 2-segment piece, you might have to put a single segment. I found I had a hard time fitting it in, so what I did was I just cut a couple of them into single pieces, and I trimmed away some of the excess chocolate so that it fit perfectly. I used 10 Kit Kat bars to make the circle in the springform pan. Then you're going to need 8 additional bars that you are going to coarsely chop. Now what I did was I chopped up 2 Kit Kat bars and put them in a bowl so that you had 4 bowls with 2 Kit Kat bars in each. Now for the ice cream, you're going to need about a gallon, about 4 liters of ice cream. Put your ice cream out on the counter for about 10 minutes just so it softens. You don't want it to melt, you just want it to soften a little bit so it's easier to work with. So the first layer was chocolate, and then just simply spread it around right up to the edges, touching the chocolate bars, and just be careful not to dislodge the chocolate bars when you first start. And then a layer of Kit Kat bars, that's 2 Kit Kat bars that have been chopped up. And then the second layer of ice cream, in this case it's vanilla. Now what I'm going to recommend you do is in between layers, if you find your ice cream is melting too much, put the whole thing back into the freezer for about a half an hour to firm up. Because what will happen is the ice cream will melt and it'll start to drip out at the bottom of the pan. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So another layer of Kit Kats and then more ice cream. This is pralines and cream, I think is what it's called. You can use whatever ice cream you want, of course, in this. When I make this again, I will certainly use different colored ice cream for the different layers so it looks better at the end. And finally, I put some chocolate and vanilla caramel cup on the top. And you can see how the chocolate ice cream is melting through the bottom of the pan. There, you can see that on the countertop. So I should have put this ice cream, this whole cake, in the freezer between layers. And I wouldn't have had the melting that I had. And it was also starting to squeeze out between the chocolate bars. Now, let it freeze in the freezer for several hours. I actually put mine in there for a couple of days, wrapped it up and put it in the freezer for a couple of days before the party. So this is nice and solid now. It's been in the chest freezer for a couple of days. So I'm going to remove the sides of the springform pan, and it wouldn't go up, so I'm going to lift it out. And you can see all the ice cream that melted around the edge. And then I'm removing the springform bottom. You could probably just leave that right on there. You don't have to remove it. But as you can see, it's quite firm, so it's easy to do. And I could put it on whatever plate you're going to serve it on. Now you can see how the ice cream melted at the base and started squeezing through the Kit Kat bars. That's because the ice cream was melting as I was making it. If you put it in the freezer between layers, you shouldn't have that problem. And there's the finished cake. So what you do is, before serving it, take it out of the freezer and let it sit there for about 15 minutes or so, just to soften a bit. It'll make it a lot easier to cut that way. And then just slice out some slices. And there's the happy birthday. Happy birthday is actually 13 letters, so worked out perfectly for Max's birthday. There is a slice. You can serve a 3 Kit Kat bar slice or a 2 Kit Kat bar slice or a 4 if you'd like. And you can see all the different layers of ice cream. When I make this again, and I probably will, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put layers of maybe cookie and maybe some fudge in between each layer of ice cream, just to give it a little bit of interest and different texture, because I found it was just really like one big block of ice cream. It was very, very tasty though. The Kit Kat bars are fantastic in this. The kids at the party loved it, so give it a try.